this is what everything that you said here, it resonates with me because in our show, we not just trying to raise awareness, but to discuss and open people's eyes to those issues. And it bothers me when I hear so many people or read their comments and they're raising the minimum wages as they feel as if we raised the minimum wages is going to take away from them. People think it's like a pie. Anytime we cut and we give someone in need, it takes away from them. And that's not how it works. Also, the homelessness. A lot of people don't think we have homelessness issue in Pennsylvania. We do. And they're not lazy people, as many people say, but most of them are people working 40 hours or more, but they cannot meet the minimum requirement. My first pay was $6.50. That was in 2001. I worked at the daycare. And, you know, to think that there are still people who are making $7, it just blew my mind. This is 20 years ago. You know, I start with the $6.50.
It breaks my heart. There's nearly 100,000 Pennsylvanians, at least, that are working for $7.25 an hour. You know,
and like, a big part of those are women, and a big part of those are moms.
You know, that's enough to fill Beaver Stadium at Penn State. You know, think about all the people that are connected to those people and the communities, and how desperate those people must be every single day. And I'm not talking about a 16-year-old that lives at home with his or her parents and that kind of thing. I'm talking about, to Gisele's point, single mothers that, and also these are the folks that are taking care of our elderly, our children, you know, making our lives more convenient, making it more comfortable. Why wouldn't we want them to have a bare minimum level of stability and economic fairness? And, you know, we don't worry about how much a CEO makes, but we sure as hell spend a lot of time worrying that $31,000 a year, you know, busting your tail for full time is too much. For what? Too much to do what? Other than just live and basically keep a roof over your head and some food on the table. You know, I don't understand it. And if that is something that you are offended by or disagree, then there's another party for you, or there's another candidate. But I'm always going to tell what I know and believe to be the truth. And that is, all work has dignity. All paychecks must have dignity.
Everyone listening to us right now, if you're not convinced after this, I don't know what else we can say to convince you that you are the right fit for Pennsylvania. And we know that you will do what you just said because you have who? Gisele by your side, and you will have us. And you will have us also be there and make sure. And that's another things we all need to understand. It doesn't end by electing the official. You can follow up, right, John?
Yeah, not at all. It's like right now there's a majority of U.S. senators that make, and all of them make $174,000 a year, but a majority of them don't think you as a single mother in Pennsylvania, you know, deserve to make $15 an hour minimum. And that to me is reprehensible. Of course, you make 175 grand a year, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, paying the bills and getting your electricity shut off. Why isn't there that collective compassionate? Because that's to me, that's requisite if you're going to serve as a United States senator. And you know what? If you're a business and you get by paying your employees $8 or $9 an hour, you're being subsidized by our government to run your business. Because if you're making $8 or $9 an hour, you need food, help paying, you know, food. You need Section 8. You need all kinds of other things that are really about a governmental subsidy, because everyone's got to eat. Everyone needs shelter. So we can't have that.
And we have a comment here from Shauna. Do you see that, Heather? Shauna Marie? I mean, she's just agreeing with everything you said. She said, I spent almost 10 years at the same job working 50 to 60 hours a week and only made $11 an hour. I literally could not afford to live on my own with my son after a decade at the same job. And you know, Shauna and so many other, like myself, I was a single mom. And like I said, I was making $650 raising kids, and you're expected to have like advance in life. Yes, I did. I struggled. I had to go to school and work so many hours just so I can pay my bills. At some point, I was lucky enough to get unemployment. And how funny is that? Like, you feel like, oh, okay, I got this, so I can take more classes. And, the odds are not in your favor, if like John is saying. So if you're a single mom or someone who is struggling right now, you need to look more and read more about John, about what he's planning to do. And I'm sure you're going to figure it out on your own. Heather?
Can I say something about Shauna?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Shauna's case is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, she's raising children. That's important. That's our society, people like that. And it's like, how hard, that's $22,000 a year. Like, that divided over 12 months, that's so little money. You know what an average apartment costs anywhere in Pennsylvania, let alone in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. And then what's left over, it's heartbreaking. And I don't know why there's not more empathy for people like Shauna's case, where it's like, look, she's playing by the rules. She's working hard. She's holding up her end of the bargain, and these companies have the resources to pay $15 an hour minimum wage. Target did it. The Target, they're having banner years, like all these different companies are realizing finally $15 an hour is the bare threshold floor of basic economic dignity for those working full-time and playing by the rules here in Pennsylvania or nationally.
You're describing it in a way that I have described it, but I've never heard someone else do it. I had my son when I was 17, so I was a single parent out of the gate, pretty young. I made $17,000 a year. My son is now almost 17, and he's like, how did you survive? I'm like, I didn't. You just played like a shell game of I'll pay the rent this time, but not car insurance. And you were constantly, you never had anything extra. Sometimes you would be hungry and you would think, oh, the dollar menu. And you'd be like, oh, I don't have $1. You literally live that way. And there is a desperation to everything you do. Getting to work is desperate. Going to the gas pump is desperate. Everything you do has like a little bit of that life and death decision that really wears out on you. And there should be a practicality among us not wanting the people that we live and work beside, people that have workers. Why would you want workers who aren't healthy? Why would you want workers who are unstable? That's not a way that a society works. That is an economy maybe working, but that is not a society working.
Thank you for saying that. I've said that. It's like if you go to McDonald's, wouldn't you want the people that are making your food and taking care of you to be okay?
Yes.
Like, I mean, this idea, like, oh, you're just flipping burgers. Like, yes, that's dignified and that's important. And like, why wouldn't we want all of us to be okay? Like, we're all better off if we're all better off. That's my view. And let me ask you, how much constant stress were you under? Did it ever stop? I mean, living like that,
You have to, I am very blessed, and a lot of it has to do with the people around me. I can only take so much credit. A lot of it is circumstance that gets you out of poverty, and you get out of it slowly and then sometimes all at once. You have to unlearn poverty, because poverty isn't just a lack of money. It is the addition of violence. It's the addition of constant stress. It is a rewiring of your brain and your nervous system. You are constantly on edge, and you don't come from a place of empathy. You're not a really productive, engaged citizen. I was probably at my least valuable to society when I had nothing. And so I do have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder when people are like, you made it out. And when you knock on doors, people love your story. But I'm like, I am one of thousands. I mean, I was surrounded by thousands of me. And so the fact that I was able to get out, it's not okay for me just to leave and let the door shut behind me. That's why you stand there. And now my job is to hold that door open firm for anybody else. But there isn't a lot of glory in that journey to me. There isn't an applause in getting out. The fact that our floor is so low is the problem.
Right. Yeah. I love how you verbalize that. Right. And I think you enter this survival mode, because I was in survival mode for a really long time. And I know, like, I think I still have PTSD from it. I think it's something that you carry, and that stress. And, I still have moments where, like, I don't think it ever leaves you, right? Like, I still have these moments that creep up, but to live in that constant, and just the mental health, how it affects you, it's right.